It's too bright. Hey everybody, Sam here and welcome back to Samcraft. No need to adjust your computer screen, tablet, phone device, or TV set. You are on the set of Samcraft. As you can tell, things look a little bit different behind me. Today's video is going to be all about catching you guys up and bringing you to the point of this bright white space. This all starts about 4 days ago, so let's bid a loop back in time to see Sam and get this party started. So I took some time to clean out this whole area of the workshop and put some insulation up. It is late October. I am pushing the bill before winter shows up, and I really want to get this space insulated. Not only to make it comfortable, nice to be in here, not let any of my glues or finishes freeze, but also since I run this whole building off of an off-grid system and batteries, those batteries are not supposed to get below freezing or be used or charged below freezing. So as I was cleaning this place out, I counted the number of OSB panels that I have and the number of T111 siding panels I have. Both are left over from when my workshop was built. I have 5 OSB and 3 or 4 T111. It's not what I would really prefer to do if I was picking from new, but having the stuff on hand, I'm going to install the OSB as my wall covering. It's not going to be very pretty at first, but I do plan to paint it, and that hopefully will look okay in the end. Maybe it'll take about 20 gallons of paint, I don't know just yet, but I have the stuff here already. It is on hand, and I've either got to put it back in the shop to store it, or just decide to cover my walls with it and put it up that way. So that's what I'm going to do. Cut the OSB to my height, which is 93 inches. Go ahead and bring them in and start attaching them to cover the walls. Nope, that's heavy. Stay put. Alright, I've got 4 of my 5 sheets put up, and it looks pretty good. I'm not necessarily a fan of the OSB look, but I'm going to paint it, and it will look good in the end. That is what I'm going to continue to tell myself. Plus, I'm using what I already bought. This has not cost me any extra money, and that's honestly something that's really important. So, good job, Sam. Sacrificing your own personal, I don't know, aesthetic standards for just getting it done. I have one more piece of OSB waiting for me outside, but I need to get myself back to that corner, insulate the last bit of wall cavity, and then get the OSB back there. I at least want to get it out of the outside, so into the inside, so that it's out of the weather and just it's one more piece done. I can say this whole wall is done and this half is done as well. That'll be a great milestone for today. So let's do the shuffle, move things around, make some room, and finish this out. That's a pretty great milestone, a great stopping point, not only because it's all the OSB I have, but it's because it's all the OSB I have. In all seriousness, I am just about depleted my power source out here. I have a very small battery pack right here that's been running power to the shop all day. It has also been extremely cloudy with maybe 30 minutes of sunshine today. So there's been no power coming from the solar panels, and it is at 6%. So whether I like it or not, I'm about to be in the dark. So, might as well call this stopping point for now. But don't worry, video is not over, party's not over, the fun has not ended. Just gotta take a break for a little while. So at this point, I have put all of the insulation in the walls. Every bit of the wall of the workshop all around is totally insulated. I have also covered up as much of the wall as I can with the 7/16 OSB. What I have left to do is the area around the laser station that I've built, so I don't want to tear it apart just yet. I will do that, just not right now. My next step, honestly, is going to be to paint the walls. I do not personally care for the look of raw OSB in a workshop. It's a little too yellow for my taste, and I much prefer a white, bright workshop to work in, and of course make videos for you guys as well. To paint the walls, I'm going to be using a tool we've had for a while. This is called a Wagner SideKick. It is an electric powered paint roller. This hose here, close to my hand, this goes into your bucket of paint. The box itself sits around it, and then you have what looks pretty standard 9-inch roller with a trigger on it, and this is what you actually paint with on the walls. There are specialty pieces to it. You have a special roller that's perforated, and you have this insert that goes inside. That way the paint flows through, but it seals on the outside edges. Otherwise, it just loads into the roller itself, and from there it's fairly standard and straightforward. You press the button here to enact the switch, and it turns on the pump. You wait until you have some paint flowed out, you stop, roll it for a while, press to refill, keep going back and forth. It is extremely handy with this setup. I can just sit the pump and the bucket of paint in a central location. The hose on this, I believe, is probably about 10 feet, which is plenty long enough to reach everything as I go. I don't have a lot of paint trays and pouring to clean up, and for this kind of application, it's going to work great. As far as primer, I picked up some Valspar name brand multi-surface latex primer paint. I guess it's primer. Is primer paint? I don't know. Picked it up from a local hardware store. It was a pretty good deal, and it was one that is recommended and said to be the best that my store could offer for OSB. The paint guy at the counter was like, you're painting OSB? And I said, yes, it's for a workshop. And he said, OSB? I said, yes, it's for a workshop. We'll see how this goes. This is probably my best solution. My best option is to primer this, probably do a couple of coats, and then we can come back and see if I need to paint it later. All right, that's enough yakking. Let's start smacking paint on the wall. Alright, at this point I have the paint primed up. It is close to the end of the roller. What I'm going to do is go ahead and turn it on, start rolling. It'll be dry for a while until the paint makes it through the roller head and out through the actual, I guess, roller head too. So it takes a little while for it to get primed up, as you see. And another thing is, you don't leave this running the whole time. You treat it as if it's a tray that you dip your paint into. When the roller gets low or dry, turn on the button, pump some more paint out, turn it off, and then keep going. That's the basic concept. It's not rocket science, it's just paintology, and that's how we're going to do it. So, put you guys over there out of the way, because I'm afraid I'm going to hit you with the roller, and just go to town painting this thing.
Game begin.
It feels great and it looks great. It looks really great on camera, but in person it's not so great. But either way, it's great to have all of the OSB primed. I've not finished putting the OSB up in my workshop. I have to do back here behind my laser station and that little short wall that I have everything stored on. I'm trying not to destroy that because that is my operations. I'm a small business. I still got customer orders to make, and that's where that happens. But otherwise, it is entirely primed. It looks great. Again, I said great. I guess it looks great. It is interesting to see the process, the drying process and the wicking process of the primer with the OSB. When I look back here in the corner where I started, it was super thick, super heavy, and looked like a solid coat. Looked perfect. But as it has dried over the last hour and a half, it has soaked in, but not at normal intervals or normal rates. You can see the variation and differences of the striations of the wood depending on how it soaked up or did not soak up the paint, and it gives it an interesting textured look. It is not something I'm going to keep. I would rather have a more uniform, solid wall than what I have right now, but it's just kind of cool to look at and see. So perhaps if you're looking to have some OSB painted and you're kind of curious what would it look like, maybe this is an example, and maybe it's going to show through on the camera. Otherwise, this is my stopping point. I have everything primered, so I need to go ahead and clean out the roller, pack it up, keep it clean, and wait for my additional layers of primer or perhaps my coats of final paint. I'll see how it dries and how it looks, and probably tomorrow. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think it does. So at this point, everything's cleaned up, put up, and what I have hung as far as OSB is primered. So I'm done for today. Might as well let it dry, let it sit, and then we'll come back and check it out tomorrow. Well, I can say that it is a lot brighter in here. No doubt because of the paint and the white walls, but also because I finished putting up all of my workshop lights. I now have 12 double bulb LED 4-foot shop lights here in my 12x20 workshop. It is nice and bright, just the way I like it, and just the way the video likes it too. So while I really don't have access to my shop yet, other than the little cubby that we're standing in, I now can at least start to put things back officially. I was going to say professionally, but this is not the right shop. Officially where I want them. That is going to start off with a new project, a new area of the shop, and something that I'm going to call Laser Town. But that's going to be in the next video. I think I've dragged this one on long enough, showing installation, hanging OSB, primering it 3 to 4 times, and then final painting it. While this is done, it is not completely finished because I still need to get to the other side of my workshop, have access to the walls, put up the OSB, primer, paint, and repeat the whole process over there. However, it is perfect time to go ahead and set everything up over here, especially because the last area that I have not gotten to is where my laser is set up, and it is my area of business that is still active here in the shop. In total, this took about 2.5 to 3 gallons of primer, and it took about 1.5 gallons of paint. Not bad, really not bad considering the surface area that was covered and the fact that I was dealing with raw OSB. In total, I primered and then painted 352 square feet of surface area. Given that I believe a gallon of paint is said to cover from 3 to maybe 400 square feet, and that I used double or triple that, we can definitely say that's because the OSB really drank it in. But I can also say with the semi-gloss paint, I have a nice, relatively sealed surface to work with. The semi-gloss paint should give me a good area to be able to wash and clean if it gets dirty, and hopefully it being a little bit smoother will not just catch every bit of dust in the shop. I'm sure it still will. The best perfect thing I believe would have been drywall, but remember I started this off using the sheets I already had on hand and just rolled with it. Either way, the strength of the OSB does give me more options for hanging or attaching things to the walls, so that can be said to be a perk over drywall, but in the end, it's just a white space that's about to be covered up with tools, so it probably doesn't matter all that much. While I'm excited to go ahead and start building Laser Town, I'm going to have to save that for the next video. This one is probably long enough, it's full of information and paint goodies. So if you are interested to see me build a dedicated area of my workshop for laser engravers, stick around. That should be the next video out. If not, it'll be the next 1 or 2. And if you're here at this point, you probably like the channel, so go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell too. That way you're going to be notified, hopefully, whenever the next video does come out. As always, if you got any questions or comments, leave them for me down below. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you guys next time in the workshop. Bright, bright workshop. This is only, while this is done for now, what am I saying? This project starts about 4 days ago. So let's go ahead and bidaloop back in time to get this thing going. Yeah, thing going. I at least want to get it out of the outside, so into the inside, so that it's able to be inside. This project actually starts, so let's go bidaloo back in time and see what's going on back in time to get started with making this a brighter shop. So let's bidaloo back in time and start with the thing. Yeah.